I'm Myke Shrews,
And I'm Tivis,
and you're listening to
the Munster Cast.
episode
13.
13? Oh,
I'll leave that in.
right. What's that?
You just gonna leave that in?
I'm totally leaving that. Welcome
right.
back, everybody, to the Munster Cast, episode 13, as we learned in the intro.
Yeah.
So for anyone joining for the first time, welcome. This is a podcast where we watch every episode of the Munsters and discuss them, usually two at a time. We do so. And we are on episodes 24 and 25, I believe, right now, right?
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, I knew that. So we're gonna dive on into that. But before we do, definitely check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
We're on Twitter, even though we don't use it.
Yeah, we're trying to use some of these a little bit more as we see more people joining in and stuff.
I see you using the Twitter more. I'll stick to the Facebook.
And we're also on YouTube. If you're only listening to us on the audio version, we are on YouTube at the MunsterCast YouTube channel there as well. All links are in our description. And if you want to ever reach out to us, let us know how we're doing. Let us know if you think we should change something, any insight, or if you want to just show up on the show and talk about the Munsters or what you love about them. You can also email us at TheMunsterCast@outlook.com. And we're pretty good at responding to the emails now that we got it all set up. So with that said, again, I am Myke Shrews, and this is my co-host Tivis, and let's dive into it.
I'm also here.
Yeah. I figure I do all the PR stuff for you so you don't have to.
So should we do some actual relatively recent news? Just so people know, this is our most recent, this is only a few days before you're going to hear it.
Right.
This is the closest episode we got to actual release.
Yeah. So would you have good news for us or some news for us for
some Munster casting?
Okay.
Catherine Schell has been cast as Zoya Krupp for the upcoming Rob Zombie movie.
Okay.
I've seen her in the Doctor Who episode City of Death, which I didn't even recognize her. So that's incredible. She retired from acting in the 90s and she's back.
Right. Yeah, like I said, Rob Zombie is probably the only person I know that can get a lot of these actors who've retired 30, 40 years ago, to come back and do some acting with him. I think he has a great way of getting some of these older people back into it, and it's worked out for a lot of people actually. So especially old sci-fi and horror people for sure.
Yeah, but he's definitely got a passion for it. I'll give him that. I'm cautiously, like I said repeatedly, cautiously optimistic.
I'm curious of how what the style will be like for the shooting, like seeing set pictures, things like that. It's hard to say. So yeah, I'm curious though. Zoya Krupp, we have not seen that character, so I'm assuming it's a brand new character.
That's what I was just looking up.
So everything I've seen for the character itself, anyways, just shows the actress.
I did find out that she's a gypsy.
Okay.
Which I don't know if that's the proper term anymore. they keep changing it on me.
If they used it, then it's fine.
Yeah, that's why I said it. But Yeah.
But yeah, so I see nothing else for the character, so it has to be an all new character.
That's what it's looking like. Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's another original.
All right.
Son of a.
So he's creating more original characters with like the 100 characters we've already had, just within the first 25 episodes. Why not bring some of those ones in? I'm curious of what the actual story is going to be for this film and how it will be laid out and stuff. So, any other Munster news before we get?
Well, didn't you find out something about Pat
Priest?
Yeah.
And this is kind of like relatively new. Well, to go in with it, she actually, Pat Priest, who is the new Marilyn, or the second Marilyn 2.0. Is that what we should call her?
I don't know. I think that implies that the previous actress wasn't that great, which she was.
Yeah. So she is actually rest in peace, Betty White, but she actually played Betty White's little sister or younger sister in the show, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. If anyone's ever watched that, you can find her in there. And so I thought it was
really, we were just looking for a way to mention Betty White.
Yes,
a legend.
I wasn't looking for a way, but it just happened to pop up when I was looking for stuff on Betty White and everything for another show that we do. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting little fact. And if people want to check out, there is this website called universalmonsteruniverse.com. And it has so much stuff in there. And they do breakdowns of meeting every single Munster cast member and stuff like that as well on there as well. Or as well. Wow, I keep repeating the same words. As well. But yeah, so that's all I got on that part, man. It's not as good as my Transylvania University find that I had. So do you want to dive into this or do you got more for us?
We can dive into it.
Awesome. So we're diving into episode 24.
I thought we were going to say it in unison, but I just took over. Okay. Season 1, episode 24, Love Locked Out, aired March 4th, 1965. Written by James B. Alderdice, Tom Adair, and Norm Liebman. Directed by Charles Barton, who is new to the Munsters. This is his only Munsters episode, but he did 17 episodes of the 1958 Zorro, which, I mean, I like Zorro, but he also did the 1948 Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So cool. He's kind of an old hat to these type of characters.
Yeah.
Our guest this episode
for this show. We should watch that movie for this show.
Yeah. I'm not
like
going to
a filler episode.
Guest this week, we had Elliot Reed as Dr. Harville Baxter. Oh my God. I just realized that that's the Scrubs character's name. Okay.
Yeah. You didn't catch that when we were watching it?
No. He was also Mr. Armstrong in Seinfeld. That's the only thing I recognized. Norman Grabowski as Winthrop, who played Treble in Batman, and Brian O'Byrne as Calvin, who was the organist in Spaceballs and Mr. Carlisle in Happy Days.
Okay.
So a few other shows that I find mildly interesting.
So Elliot Reed was also a real person.
Yeah.
Deceased in 2013.
He was in this episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. Sorry. Not a real person, but he's dead. That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah. Rest in peace.
Yes. Rest in peace. 1920 to 2013. That's almost 100 years there, too. Man. Fuck death for killing all these people before they hit 100, man. So close. Anyways, let's dive into this. Just so people know, for this episode, we are probably both running on very little sleep. I know for sure.
I probably have a little more than you do. You were up way later than
I stopped texting you around 1:30 in the morning, so I was just like, all right.
Yeah, that's when I went home.
Yeah. Episode 24, Love Locked Out. After Herman gets home late from an office party, Lily locks Herman out of their bedroom. When they are unable to reconcile, Lily and Herman seek counseling. That's a good synopsis. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starting to critique the.
They leave out the part where they seek counseling separately.
Yeah. Well, that's the part you're supposed to watch the episode for, man. So basically, that explains it. Herman. So we open this episode as they're eating again at the table.
Yep, they're having breakfast, and the carpool pulls up. So he got his job back.
Right. And I almost felt like this was like almost the same scene we had seen before.
That's what I felt too. I have right here in my notes. This feels like what we saw a few weeks ago, but in reverse.
Yeah. Yeah. So
he starts speeding as his carpool arrives, and Grandpa's excited, which is weird, right?
He
was like enjoying watching him.
Kind of weird. Grandpa's weird in this whole episode.
Yeah, he is. He tells Lily he's going to be attending an office party, and he promises to be home by 6:30. Cut to his coworkers in the car, and they're like, "The party don't start till 9. This book won't be home till midnight."
At the earliest.
Yeah.
So they're basically setting Herman up to get in trouble, which is it's nice to see them though, how they're interacting about Herman. They seem like they don't give a crap, about his opinion and stuff like that.
They worked with him for years. They know him by now.
So it's cool to see that, part
people who aren't afraid of him.
Yeah,
they actually sound like they're excited to hang out with him,
and they're messing around with him too. So they're not scared of him for sure. So yeah, it was cool to see that part. But yeah, there's just like, oh yeah, he's not gonna be home till at least midnight. And he tells his wife he's gonna be home at what time? Like
6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I do question where the hell he works, because is a funeral home having a big old party like this?
Well, there's another line later in the episode where somebody asks, does he get buried at work? And Lily goes, once in a while.
Yeah.
So like, does he also work in a graveyard? What?
Maybe he just falls asleep in the caskets or something, and they accidentally bury him. Maybe
that would make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be horrible for the family.
That'd be funny. Can we see that episode, please?
Yeah.
a whole day of Herman's work. Gosh, I hope we get an episode like that.
We're getting closer. We're getting more close.
Yeah, more and more stuff for him breaks out. So yeah, he goes off to the party basically, because we don't see him working at all today.
No,
it's just him going to the party. And there's not a whole lot that really takes place between, besides
there's a few things, but Lily is we cut to Lily knitting in the living room as Eddie comes in, and she's like, when's Dad gonna get home? She goes, well, sometimes they need to attend parties to keep morale up. And he goes, another office party, huh?
Yeah.
This is apparently a common occurrence. We also find out that his werewolf doll is named Woof Woof.
Woof Woof. Yeah, I think he said that before, though.
Did he? Okay,
yeah, he said
I didn't know
before.
We also,
and then he takes Spot up to his bedroom
because Spot isn't feeling well.
Yeah, so he opens up the stairwell, and we get some more cool footage of Spot under the stairs, and
the animatronic is cool.
Yeah, we don't see Spot moving, but you hear the doosh of him going up the stairs somehow.
I feel like this was included just because they wanted to show that thing off again, which why wouldn't you? That thing is awesome.
As much as they probably spent on making it, why not show it off as much as you can?
Yeah.
So,
the Raven announces that it's 9:00 and what is it? The bum isn't home yet.
Yeah, he's like, it's 9:00 now, and he's like, wait, actually, the bum isn't home.
Yeah.
He says, I mean, the bum isn't home now, or yet, or some shit like that. Yeah, it's funny. I was like, can someone just kill the bum? And I thought it was ironic or kind of interesting that, like, you have the spot scene, and he's like, oh, a boy just loves his pet. And then the bird pops out. I thought the bird was going to say something smart ass, like, yeah, no one loves me. Like,
I am happy that they're getting away from Edgar Allan Poe quotes with him.
Why not? You don't like the Poe, man? Come on.
No, I said that before.
Man.
Lily calls up. Lily calls up the work, and Herman answers. She's like, this is Lily. What do you mean, Lily who? It's 9:00. The party just started, and Herman is clearly already drunk.
Is he drunk, or is he just like distracted so much? Because it is loud.
He seems drunk.
Loud. Really?
Yeah.
I guess maybe a little bit, a little tipsy.
Very similar to my dad. Who's not a mean drunk, by the way. He's a hugger.
Okay. So yeah, Herman's again. This is a scene where we see the flowers in the background again, which kind of allude to the floral arrangements for the funerals and stuff, funeral services. So,
yeah.
Again, we're trying to allude to where he works. I mean, he does get picked up in a hearse, so it's like there's not much illusion there. So. It's like, no, this is he works at a funeral home in some fashion.
So the entire time he's like taking the phone away from his ear, not listening to Lily, which big mistake. Anyone who's married, do not listen.
Especially on the phone, because you can't like say, oh shit, or you can't fix that mistake as easily as in person. Like, I'll be sitting here, my wife will say something, I'll zone out for a second, be like, dude, I wasn't listening. What'd you say?
Oh, I just get, I get that. You're not listening to me, are you?
Yeah.
Can you repeat that?
I know my wife doesn't ever listen to me, so the most she probably listens to me is when she listens to these podcasts that we do.
At least she listens.
But yeah, so that's a big no. I do like that even as we cut away from the scene of her hanging the phone up, when we come back to her, they took the time to still have her walk away and pull the phone booth thing so it moves in. They didn't cut to it already being pushed in. So I like that they took the time to just show, hey, look, again, it probably has to deal with they built the fucking thing. They're like, we're going to utilize these things as much as we can because, we wasted this money and the effects and So, but I like the production part of that where they didn't just cut to it already closed up. And then she walks over to Grandpa.
Yeah, I like this one right here.
And she's like so angry. You can say it since you like it.
Yeah, she's so mad. She's on her way to bed. She's like, she's so mad she could chew nails. Which Grandpa then offers her some railroad spikes, and she acts like she's gonna. It's like this is a great because they always say chewing your nails is a bad habit. So they make this out to kind of like a smoker who's like, oh, I want one, but I shouldn't.
Right.
It's a great bit of acting.
And then Grandpa, she walks away not taking a nail. And then Grandpa ends up, she's like, and he starts chewing them like they're like pretzels or something. I was like, what? I was really curious what they were. So I'm sure they were like some type of pretzel cookie or something like that.
Probably.
He actually was eating those things. So
I wouldn't be shocked, honestly.
Or fondant. Did they have fondant back then? Might have just been fondant. Oh, that stuff's so nasty.
Would that have melted?
No, fondant doesn't. That's the whole point of fondant. It's pliable and, well, to a point. Yeah.
I'm not a baker, so in fact, every time I try. Oh, okay. Here's a little story. The other night, my wife asked me for one of those. It's like a tiny lava cake you can make in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Oh, the ingredients are in the box in the pantry." So I go get it. I pull it out. I put it in the bowl that I'm going to make it in, and I'm like, "Well, that's real weird looking." I put it in the microwave. 5 minutes goes by. This isn't hardening up. I'm like, "What is wrong with this thing?" She comes down. She just tried to microwave frosting. I'm like, I guess so. You said it was in the box. I grabbed the thing out of the box.
Now we know who the Herman is on this show.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Man, this is why every house needs cameras in it.
Oh boy. So Herman gets home. He breaks his key in the door and decides to just bust through it. So at this point, I'm like, so what's the locked out part of this episode?
Right. That's what I was confused for a minute from the title. Locked out. I was like, okay, so he's gonna get locked out. Nope, it was that, because I was like, yeah, he could just bust the door. As soon as his key broke off, I was like, dude, he literally walks through the door like all the time. Like, how is this gonna affect him? But yeah, then
how do they even lock the door?
Right? He just smashes the a little hole instead of just popping the whole door off.
Opens it up from the
Either
inside.
way, he's got to replace the whole door now. So
he goes into the living room to wake Grandpa, who's sleeping in there upside down.
Oh yeah, Grandpa gives zero fucks in this episode, by the way.
Oh no, he doesn't.
It's literally in my notes here. So Herman comes in, he's all happy, he's singing his song. I forget what lyrics of the song, but he was just singing it back and forth.
Do I have it?
And it was a good little rhythm and stuff going on. And the
Moonlight on the Ganks.
Is that what it is?
I think so. I might be pronouncing that last one wrong. It's by the Village Stompers, and it hit the Billboard Hot 100 singles in December of 1964. So,
Moonlight on the Gangs or on the River?
Ganges.
Gangs? Oh yeah, Frank. Oh yeah, it's a Frank Sinatra song. Duh.
Well, originally by the Village Stompers.
Well, Frank Sinatra did it too.
Yeah, well, he was also involved with the mafia. So.
Whoa, these lyrics, man. Yes, Frank Sinatra was involved with the mafia. Who wasn't back in the day?
Yeah, well, you could ask the same thing about recent, but
yeah. So Herman goes in, sees Grandpa hanging upside down, sleeping. Another cool scene because we get to see them interact while he's upside down. Which
does Grandpa have a bedroom?
He has the dungeon or the
Doesn't
lab.
He also say he has something in the attic too? He
had that attic. The only stuff in the attic was that one room we've seen before.
Yeah,
with, his wife's big.
That's why I'm confused. Did he not have a bedroom? He just sleeps wherever he hangs,
wherever the hell he wants. Yeah, like a grandpa.
Okay, yeah.
It's just like wherever they pass out, that's where they're sleeping that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Grandpa gives zero shits in this one. So he's Herman's like, oh yeah, where's Lily? And he's like, oh, she's upstairs waiting for you. Grandpa sets him up. He sets his ass up too. He gives no heads up to Lily being mad. And it's literally my one note for this scene was Grandpa, no care in the world, doesn't even give Herman a heads up to Lily being pissed off. And I was just like, are you serious? Like, and it's interesting because in previous episodes, we've seen Grandpa try to keep Herman out of the doghouse. But this time he's just like, nah, we're going to have some fun today. More reason I think Grandpa's just to say this. and a serial killer. But still, I digress.
Yeah. So Herman walks up the stairs and goes to their bedroom. Tries to go into the bedroom, but it's locked.
Yeah.
Now we get to the locked out part.
Yeah. I really thought he was just going to break this door down too.
That's what I thought too. Why doesn't he break his own bedroom door? He breaks everything else in this freaking house.
Maybe the interior doors are more expensive. Or they're maybe
they don't use that set that often, so maybe they don't want to replace it.
Right. Well, no, I mean like for Herman himself, like in world, not in reality.
I don't know.
Bedroom doors are a little harder to replace because it's an older house. The exterior doors,
Oh yeah, it could be.
Those out easier. So just put.
Or maybe Lily just likes the way the inside looks and tells him not to break it.
Right.
So Lily, who pretends to not be there at first, then throws a plant at the other side of the door.
Makes no sense. Like, yeah, I'm not going to actually hit you, but we're going to just make a big old mess.
Then I have another note. He's a drunk idiot. He bends down. I'm telling you, man, he had some drinks. Bends down. Is like, Pussycat wants to come to bed. They're like, it's weird when you say it, man.
Before he even says that, he said a line that was like, I wouldn't. The only time I would say it is as a joke to my wife, but he's like, open the door, be a good little wife. I was like, oh shit.
That's why I think he was drunk.
I was like, damn. Like the only time I would do that is if I'm just fucking with my wife. And I know I'm going to get hit either way, even if it's a joke.
Naturally and correctly, Lily grabs his pillow and an extra blanket, shoves it out into his face in the hallway, and slams the door in his face.
At least she was nice enough to do that. Instead of just being like, you're sleeping downstairs. Peace. Because I mean, we have seen him just sleep on Grandpa's like surgical table or whatnot. So.
Yeah, when he was trying not to eat for Thanksgiving.
Right. But yeah,
and he terrorized that neighbor house.
So she shoves him downstairs, and then we are down on the couch with Herman dreaming
as he snores
and snoring, and he's pulling the flame towards him every time he breathes in and then out. And I think that was pretty cool. I wonder if that was a practical effect or if they did that after the fact. It looked practical though. Like they look like they shot it with him on the couch.
I have no idea what was possible back then. So I thought it was practical.
Maybe they used some different
force perspective.
Yeah, force perspective to make it look.
I thought that too, because that fire looks like it got real close to her.
Yeah, and with how hot it would have melted a lot of the prosthetics too, regardless if it got onto him or not. But it was a cool effect. I like that. It's just adding a little bit more gas to it.
And then the cat. Yeah, that's apparently its name, as we learned. Yeah. Comes and starts sniffing his hand, and he thinks it's the Lily come to collect him until he wakes up.
Yeah, I think
and realizes
was licking his hand though, not just sniffing.
Was it?
Yeah,
like, I couldn't tell.
No matter what you do, I'm not coming upstairs. And then he turns over, and it's just like, oh, yeah. And then the cat like roars at him. This was a cool episode though, because we saw more pets in this episode.
Yeah, we saw like every pet.
The only one I don't think we saw Igor though. We don't see Igor.
No, we didn't see Igor. Or the Invisible Man again. He's been missing for a while.
He's invisible. He could
be anywhere.
He could be in Lily's room right now.
That's wrong. So the leaky faucet starts driving him nuts.
Uh-huh.
So and at this point I made a note. The cat is being incredibly adorable. Like he's got his arm around it, and I couldn't help it. I'm like, that's cute. But he goes and tries to fix the sink, bumps into the harp, complains about not having any light, then lights a match. Now, I've never been in pitch black with a match, or pitch darkness with a match. Pitch Black was a movie. Does that give off enough light to move around a room? Because I felt like the light they were producing was way more than that. Like they were shining a spotlight or something.
Well, yeah, because they need more light. The match light isn't going to be enough for the film that they were using at the time. But just like a little match, like from a matchbook, those ain't giving off much light at all.
I didn't think so either.
Black. You're probably looking at more like those long fire starter matches. Because the little ones also, burn up in your hand super fast too if you're holding them like that to try and use it as a light. So this is why we invented lighters or flashlights.
Or just lights.
Well, you don't always have lights, so there's portable.
He did. They didn't have a power outage. He just didn't want to hit the switch.
Yeah.
Which is weird because he hit it when he came his way back. But yeah, so he goes to fix the sink, and instead of fixing it, he rips it out of the wall, ties it into a knot, and leaves it there.
Yeah. Just like knotting up the pipes. I'm like, that okay.
Yeah, that's one way to fix it, I guess. That's
and it's like, of all the things that I've seen throughout this show, of the 20, this was episode 24, so of all the 24 episodes I've seen, that's the most unbelievable thing. I can believe there's Frankenstein's monster and all that shit, but that
is it tying it into a knot or stopping the drip from the sink?
Both. Tying it into a knot. You'd have to crimp the pipe for it to stop dripping.
That was clearly a hose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they wanted you to think it was a pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
So he goes back into the living room with the lights on, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
It starts flicking them off when a mouse comes out and he freaks out. Apparently he's afraid of mice. That wakes up Eddie, and Grandpa and Eddie come running down the stairs to see what all the yelling's about. So I did not realize he was afraid of mice.
I think that's a thing for Frankenstein's monster.
Is it?
I'm gonna look it up. I know it was fire, and
my most exposure to the character is young Frankenstein, so I got the parody version.
Well, I mean, I read the actual book.
Prometheus, yeah.
No, the Mary Shelley's book of Frankenstein.
Yeah, Prometheus.
No, it's called Frankenstein.
They changed the name.
Yeah. They had to. They had to. Anyway.
Did you find anything?
No.
Okay. That's what I was waiting on.
Sorry.
So, they're like, there's no mouse here. Why don't you relax? Here, take Woof Woof and go to sleep. Then we cut to the next morning, and Lily refuses to acknowledge him at first. Then after he slams the table and they lose everything that's on it, because it never comes back. It just floats into space. She gives him 3 prune pits.
Sorry. Yeah. My hat was caught on the microphone thing. It wouldn't move.
Yeah, I was wondering why you were just so silent. I'm like, is everything all right over there?
Yeah. I was looking up the Prometheus Frankenstein thing. That's what you were talking about. What do you
find anything interesting?
Modern Prometheus. That's what it was. It wasn't just Prometheus.
Oh, okay. I've always just called it Prometheus. All right.
No, the modern Prometheus, after the ancient Greek myth of Prometheus. And then they made that dumbass movie called Prometheus, and yeah.
The Ridley Scott. All right. So Herman gets desperate enough to ask Grandpa for advice, which is the dumbest thing anyone can do. And he just tells Herman, stand strong. She'll get over it. Cut to night 4 of him on the couch. Grandpa says, doesn't seem like she's getting over it.
Grandpa's an asshole.
Yes, he is.
So let's jump to this one part because I enjoyed this part here. So after these days, Lily's complaining to Marilyn, and Herman, I think, also complained to her as well, or was it to Grandpa? I think it was about counseling. They're basically both complaining. They're going to end up going to counseling. Marilyn suggests counseling.
Meryl suggests it to Lily, and Grandpa, for once, gives an advertisement to Herman, which is usually reversed.
Right. Usually Herman's the one finding the things in the back of the, send the quarter in for this pages. The old comic books, man, they don't do that anymore. I wish they did. Anyway,
X-ray glasses.
I'll enjoy that when we read the Munster comics, seeing those in there. If I actually pick the comics up or we read the digitals, we'll see. So
what digitals? There are no digitals.
Digitals don't exist.
Yeah, they're definitely not out there.
So we get Lily goes to the counselor first. At first, I thought they were going to talk about this and go as a team.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go counseling together, but Lily's like, Herman cannot find out.
Right. I was like, how is he not going to find out that he's going to counseling with you? But
I have the opening line for both Herman and Lily because I thought they were just timeless jokes. So they open up. The guy goes, now, what is your problem? Lily goes, well, to begin with, doctor, I'm married. He goes, don't be ashamed. Virtually every person who walks through that door has made that same mistake.
Yeah. That one made me laugh.
Yeah, that's why I had to put it verbatim. Oh, man. So,
can I just say,
yes,
as a marriage counseling thing, if you have one spouse coming to you, that's not marriage counseling.
No, that's just counseling.
It's just counseling. And two, if you're calling it marriage counseling and only one spouse shows up, I'm thinking you're boning that person. What the hell, dude?
I didn't go that direction. I was thinking there's no point to the counseling.
Right. Yeah. There's no point because you're supposed to have a two-way conversation. Mm-hmm. Well, kind of like a three-way conversation, but still. Mediator and
yeah, I got you.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. No one knows what I'm talking about.
Go seek help if you need it. Don't be ashamed. So they start talking about Herman. She's like, so when was he born? And I thought we were going to get like a time or where was he born? I'm like, where are we going to get an origin? She's like, oh, he wasn't born. He was made. Yeah. He's like, oh, a self-made man then. No, he had help.
Yeah. And we get a little bit more, though, to Herman's backstory here. So he says that there's one doctor that created him. One doctor. And he stopped. The doctor stopped after making Herman. So
which means Charlie is the older brother.
That's what my other part of this was. I was like, so I guess Charlie is his older brother and not younger brother. But how many more Frankenstein's monsters did the doctor make before Herman? That's the question.
Don't they say that he only has one sibling? So I think it's just the two of them.
Maybe those are just the same. Those are the two that were made out of some of the same parts since they look similar. And that's why they're brothers.
Could be.
We'll have to get back to that one.
So his advice is to tell her, you have to apologize. And at this point, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. 60s. It's, always got to forgive the man. No, he's saying that make him feel guilty.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. That's a better plan than what I thought they were going to do. I should know better. This show is not like most others. That's why I like it.
Especially for its time, man.
Yeah.
Because back in the city, like you said, in the 60s, it's like, oh, yeah, the man's right. Just go apologize. Say you're sorry.
That's seriously where I thought it was going at first.
Yeah. No, this doctor seems like surface level, he doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing.
No,
But-
especially not after Herman leaves.
But when you look back at it, at how it works out, it's like maybe he does. Maybe he, but also he doesn't know that they're a couple. That he doesn't know that they are together. So
Yeah.
because they both come in individually on their own time and don't even say names because he doesn't want to know names either. That's another
he
thing.
even says that.
It's like, I'd rather not know your names because it makes the confidentiality makes you more open to me, basically. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah. So Lily leaves, and then it's Herman's turn. He comes in. He's like, "Oh, your secretary ran out the window and climbed up to the roof." Then the guy looks at him. He's like, "Good God, man, what happened to you?" He thinks he's been beat by his wife.
Yeah.
I guess it's nice that they put some kind of care in domestic abuse, I guess. Because that's one of the unspoken ones is sometimes the guys do get beat.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what he says to Herman.
You need to tell us something?
No. No, before anyone starts saying that, no. I'm just saying that's some men are ashamed for some reason. Now let's begin at the beginning. Herman, well, the wife locked me out of the bedroom and won't let me in. Like, naturally, but has she done anything unusual? Which I took as, after marriage, there's no love life anymore. That's where I got my the humor from that. But did you get a different interpretation?
I didn't interpret that part. I just assumed that Herman has so far in their marriage of whatever 100 years or so they've been together. He hasn't experienced these little spats of being kicked out of the bedroom. So he's over exaggerating everything, I think, inside of his head anyways.
I haven't experienced it either. So
you haven't?
No. Usually I just get the silent treatment, but I still get to go in bed.
Yeah. I've never been kicked out of the bedroom. So, but we haven't been married for hundreds of years.
That's true. We're heading into 7.5 now. So he gives Herman the exact same advice, but this is the right advice because Herman is in the wrong, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
He tells like, "Oh, you got to apologize first because then that'll show her." I forget the reasons, but it's something stupid.
It'll show her that you see the error of your ways. She will think that you actually care about the situation, about her feelings, things like that.
That's right. Yeah. You should actually care, you jackass. So then we cut to Herman and Lily trying to be the first ones to apologize. And then they start arguing who's trying to save their marriage.
Yeah.
And then Herman apologizes, which pisses Lily off. And Herman is not happy that she's not accepting graciously.
Yeah. So they end up starting fighting again anyways. And then Herman follows her ass upstairs and says, demands even almost, well, in a demanding voice, I should say, "I'm not sleeping downstairs. I'm sleeping in my room. I'm sleeping in my room. I'm sleeping in my room." He repeats it like a big baby.
He throws his tantrum, which usually follows him breaking something. So I'm like, well, there was the bedroom door, but nope, he still continues to not do that.
So then he realizes that he's not going in that bedroom tonight, and walks away sad. And then Eddie's there. He like rotates out in from this like coffin thing and just hands him his
Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf. He hands him Wolf and doesn't say a thing, just gets back in, turns back around. and Herman was like, "Thank you, son," and then puts it up and cuddles it and shit. It's just like, what is going on?
So then we get Grandpa downstairs making a potion. I'm like, oh God, it's going to be another love potion.
Oh yeah, him and Lily are trying to figure out something.
No. It's Herman, Meryl, and Eddie are downstairs.
Oh yeah, Marilyn. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, it's going to make synthetic measles. He's going to give it to Eddie and make them so worried about him. And I'm like, Eddie goes, do I have to drink it? He goes, no. He has a paintbrush. It's just paint. He starts dotting Eddie's face.
Well, he did say synthetic, so I mean,
yeah, that one got me. I didn't expect that at all.
Well, because Grandpa's always making some type of concoction where it goes awry anyways. So if he would have made a potion that gave Eddie actual like measles, it probably would have infected the entire world and killed everybody.
Yeah, no. Oh, Grandpa and his potions. So he learned this from Shirley Temple. Had to make a note of that because Shirley Temple was my grandma's favorite actress.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so Lily calls for Herman. She's freaking out. Herman runs upstairs. And first of all, they don't go into Eddie's room that we've seen before. They go into the guest room. So there's a little production error that IMDb didn't get or catch. I've watched enough of the show to realize Eddie's room is on the left side, not the right of that hallway.
Maybe they were coming up and the camera angles from the opposite way. Did you ever think of that?
No, because we see him come up the stairs and then.
You sure?
We know that you go up the stairs, go down that hallway. It's guest room, Eddie, Herman and Lily's room, and then what I can only guess is Marilyn's on the other side.
Camera pointing towards the stairs or away from the stairs in that shot?
Towards the stairs. Because they don't run at the camera.
Sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
But yeah. So they go to the Herman faints, and Lily is so scared that she says that she loves him, and Grandpa is pleased that his scheme works. And then they say they left Eddie with Grandpa. Excuse me, sorry about that. Left Eddie with Grandpa for a minute, and he's cured. It's a miracle.
Yeah. A miracle cure. I sometimes I think too that might have been to boost Grandpa's appearance within the family to make him seem like he actually, well, at least with Lily and Herman, because he's fucked up so many potions and stuff in the past that, hey, I actually cured your kid and there's no weird side effects. Look at that. I think it was also it might have been to help the relationship, but I think it was also to help himself in the long run.
I can believe that. And then
again, I think Grandpa's a horrible person.
Oh, he totally is. Why is he so likable? But the last thing we see is Herman swearing off office parties, going to the piano, begins singing his song as he's playing, and smoke billows out of this thing. And the family comes to join them. And I'm shocked none of them started choking in this, because it like envelops them completely.
It's supposed to be the dust and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think they even said like she had to fill it with dust before or some crap in one of the other episodes.
Maybe it's clearly like a fog machine, but
yeah,
even still, if you've been in the smoke of a fog machine, that stuff can be pretty potent sometimes. I can only imagine what they put in it back then, mercury poisoning or whatever.
Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah. So then we end the episode right there.
Yeah. Nice little family togetherness moment, which we can't actually see.
I wonder if they meant that, or if they were just like, all right, screw it. It happened. Let's take it. Let's go.
No. The last thing we hear though is Herman beginning to laugh, which I'm like, oh, he's taking big breaths this thing out.
Might have been also dubbed, so
it could have been, but it looked like he was actually doing it.
Yeah. All right. So that's episode 24. Love Locked Out. My hat's stuck again. There we go. So, do you have any extra bits and pieces about this episode for us, man?
I already said it. It was just the music.
Just the music. All right.
Yeah.
So let's dive
I really enjoyed this one.
Did you?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was okay for me. There was a lot of shit. I was like, but I was like, all right. So I understood what they were doing. That was good.
All the jokes landed, and I think they all performed perfectly.
These 2 episodes, I enjoyed this episode more for sure than the next episode.
That's understandable.
I literally have one note for the next episode, and I'll read it as we start that one.
All right. Just to listeners know, we were originally going to do this the week prior to when we are, and we weren't able to. So I listed out my notes and stuff. Mm-hmm. I didn't actually watch the episodes yet. I didn't realize until yesterday. I think I told you, oh shit, I didn't. So we almost came into this without me knowing what the hell we were going to talk about. Thank God I realized I didn't.
Yeah. But you have watched the episodes and everything now.
I watched these.
Okay.
These held my interest.
You just said you didn't watch them for a second.
No, I almost didn't.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So episode 25, my man.
All right. Season 1, episode 25. I'm going to keep repeating you. Come back, little Googie. The teleplay was written by Joe Connolly and Bob Mosier and story by Leo Rifkin, who is new. This is his only Munsters episode, but he worked on both versions of the Addams Family and My Favorite Martian.
So he's a traitor. I see you. I see that shit.
Then Joseph Pevney is back to direct, which, if you remember, he did both of last week's episodes. I am excited to get to the guests. We have Billy Murney, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, as Googie Miller, which many of you, the first one you may not know. He was originally cast as Eddie Munster, but his parents didn't approve of the extensive makeup.
Huh. I would be pissed off if I was that kid. But this is good for us fans because Butch is a lot better, I think.
Those of you may recognize Billy because he was Will Robinson in Lost in Space.
Yes. I did recognize that.
Yeah. And he also plays Dr. Zachary Smith of the new version of the show, which I still have to start. I'm excited to get to it.
In the new the Netflix one?
Yeah.
Dr. Zachary Smith.
Of course he's going to have a cameo at least. Smith?
No.
I don't know if he's part of the family or just a one-off. I just know he appears in it, which, I mean, why would you not?
Oh, I know, because you haven't seen it, so I won't say. Okay.
Yeah, I need to finish it or start it actually.
Yeah.
He was also Time in It's a Good Life segment of the Twilight Zone. Tommy Puck in Superboy, the 1991 show, which everyone forgets about. Kellett in Deep Space Nine, and Lanier in Babylon 5. So this guy has a long, extensive history of sci-fi. We also have Russ Conway as Mr. Miller, and Judy the chimpanzee, who she was in many, many shows back this time. Addams Family, Debbie the Blue. She was Debbie the Bloop in Lost in Space, Dr. Doolittle, three different chimps in Beverly Hillbillies. So she's I really hope they treated her well. I get real scared when animals get involved with shows back then.
Oh, Tip, that is him. Okay. Sorry, I was looking the image up. Because they do some changes and stuff in that new show. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, why would you not get the kid from the original show to appear? That's just a given for me.
I think he's in episode 1.
That would make sense.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. He doesn't look that old either. Not as old as like Butch does. So.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Butch. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like he just doesn't look as nearly as old, at least in this shot here. But they might also have makeup on him too. So, all right. So let's dive into episode 25. Come back, little Googie. That's how you pronounce it. That's weird. It's a weird fucking name for a kid.
I have a theory that we'll get to at the end with that name.
All right. Grandpa is under the impression that he has accidentally turned Eddie's friend Googie into a monkey. I'd also like to point out in this episode, they say ape once.
Yes, they do.
Monkeys are different. They're different. They are different. They are different. I have to emphasize they are different. So with that said, let's dive into this episode. And before we go, my only note I will read right now to you, Tivis, for comeback little Googie. Googie is a dick.
Yes, he is.
That is the only note I wrote down for this entire episode because I was like, this kid's a fucking dick.
You also thought we already watched this one.
I did think we already watched this one because I realized like on my TV outside. Wow, that sounds so bad.
You have a TV outside?
Yes. I live in Florida, man. Leave me alone. So we turned stuff on while we're cooking and shit outside, and there's a channel that does nothing but the Munsters and Munsters, Addams Family, and Bewitched, like all the old school TV land shows they play on there. And I watched this episode just like a few weeks ago, probably right before Christmas. And so I sat down and was watching this episode. And I was texting you. I was like, dude, we've already seen this episode. Like, did they reuse footage? And I was like, no, this is 100% an episode I just watched. Like, I was so confused for a moment.
You did?
So I've seen this episode twice now within the last few weeks. You good?
Cat's trying to grab my foot.
Oh, all right. So let's dive into episode 25. Did you say when this aired?
I don't know. Did I? March 11th, 1965.
Awesome. All right. So do you want to start this out?
Sure. We open on Marilyn playing the piano and Grandpa and Herman reading,
Mm-hmm.
Lily walks in and starts brushing off dust from Herman and the couch to prepare for company. Grandpa says, she's asking them all to, be on their best behavior for Eddie's new friend.
Yeah.
And she says, Grandpa, you specifically, when you ask for ketchup, stop saying, shoot me the plasma, which is something I am now going to start doing. Oh,
awesome.
Okay.
Go to a restaurant and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need some more plasma, please.
I gotta chase my cat out from under my
Technical
desk.
difficulties.
Animal difficulties is more like.
Yeah. So we set this up. Eddie's having another little boy coming over. They make a big deal about this every time Eddie has a friend coming over. It's so weird.
Well, it's probably a good thing he has friends.
Yeah. At least this time Herman doesn't think it's his own son, like previous episodes. So
How about that?
We get Googie shows up. He just shows up with Eddie, of course. He has a dumbass name. Do you want to give like why you think his name is that, or do you want to wait until the end?
We'll wait until the end.
Okay. I didn't know when you wanted to do that. So yeah. So he
really likes Marilyn when they introduce.
Yeah. Just go.
All right.
It's like this. I didn't know it. I hate that kid. He's such a dick, man. He's like tries to be nice to everybody except for at the right moment.
Only the men. He's nice to the women.
Yeah. And didn't he pull the chair out for Grandpa too? Or
no, that was Herman. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So he's real nice to Lily, real nice to Marilyn. He goes to Grandpa. He calls him a penguin, which I'm pretty sure this is the second time we've heard this. And it's hilarious every time. Googie then goes to shake Herman's hand and shocks him with one of those hand buzzers. And then Lily tells them to go upstairs. The whole family comes in, even Marilyn, who he's nice to. And they're like, they hate him. They hate him already. He just got there. And the Raven pops his head out and goes, I'm getting the hell out of here. Just flies.
It's kind of like, I don't know, almost, I don't want to say Dennis the Menace because he was actually a nice kid. But
I need to be distracted about this. The cat started chewing on cords lately, so I'm trying to keep an eye on her.
Get in the butt.
So they're preparing for dinner. Herman blows the candles out before dinner, which I'm like, are you supposed to have the candles for in dinner ambiance? But as he does this, they all start drooping his horrible breath.
I mean, it makes sense with that crazy ass kid. He might burn their fucking house down.
That's true. So Grandpa calls the kids down and he's like, I'm going to pull my own prank. He's got a giant rat trap he's waiting to kill Googie with.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm just going to use, he gave me a buzzer. I'm just going to use my own trick on him. Like, what the hell? It's like those things where you see people like in movies, they still do that shit today. It's like, somebody smacks somebody upside the head while they're on the toilet or something. Then next thing you know, that guy's like out about to blow his car up or some shit. It's actually interesting.
Good Jackass reference.
Yeah.
Timely. So Meryl wants to send the kid home. And Lily's like, no, we got to be kind to him. He's Eddie's friend. And Herman, I put this quote down because I really liked it. Herman says this line: being kind to people is like investing in a bank. When you put kindness in, you get kindness back with interest.
Yeah. Which now, are you doing it to be kind, or are you doing it so others will be kind back to you? Because if you're doing it with the intention of having the same treatment back onto you, is it really you being kind from your bottom of your heart, or are you doing it because of benefits for yourself?
I've always had the belief that it doesn't matter what self-motivates you to put good into the world. As long as you're putting good in the world, that's all that matters. Like, you could be the most selfish, dick of a person doing it for your own gain. But if it's being beneficial to others, just let it happen.
Yeah. But at the same, I understand that part. But then I'm thinking, like, within your own personal being, like, how are you to feel about that? Like, I'm only doing this because it benefits.
We're going into morals.
This whole show's about morals. What are you talking about?
I hated ethics class. I don't know if I said that on the show or not. I hated ethics.
So we're doing a whole show on The Good Place then, right?
Oh God. I mean, I'm for it. That show is awesome.
Right.
But oh boy.
All right. Anyways, back to reality and out of ethics.
Yeah. Googie is nice to all the women, not so much to Grandpa, and then offers to pull he pulls the chair out for Lily and pushes it in for her as she sits down. He offers to do the same for Herman and just takes the chair into another room.
Yeah.
And what is it? Marilyn and Grandpa is like, how's that interest going?
Yeah. It's poor Herman, man. And I wonder what made them decide to use her. Well, I guess because Herman's the more comedic one at falling than Grandpa would be. So
a big guy fall down has always been an American pastime.
Yep. That's the Big Show.
Like America's Funniest Home Videos.
Rip Bob Saget.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, another one. Okay. So they're in the kitchen. Marilyn tells Eddie he needs to send Googie home. Can I note that their sink is steaming? Why was the sink steaming?
Was there something in it?
She was washing dishes, but it was like billowing steam. Like, what?
Maybe they're just implying that it's super hot, but it doesn't affect her like touching the water and stuff like that.
Well, what kitchen sink gets that hot?
Like,
it usually takes forever to get it lukewarm.
Really? Mine gets super hot, man. Super fast.
Well, you live in Florida. Try living in Ohio. Again,
that has nothing to do with it. The water heaters are still in the garage and shit. Like,
ours is in the basement.
Just get an electric water heater and you'll be good.
We can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
Not in Ohio.
Yeah, you can.
We'll talk about this after the show.
A tankless water heater. There you go. All right, go on.
Spot starts scratching to come in, and Millie gets mad because last time he did this, he ripped the back porch off.
Yeah.
And Herman goes to yell at him, and fire just comes in through the door in response as Spot is, obviously breathing fire at him. So Herman, we find out Googie is in the lab with Grandpa.
Oh, yeah.
Who is going to end up killing who here?
He's showing Googie all these things, which is interesting that Grandpa's he's actually nice right now.
Yeah.
Showing his lab.
He's putting an effort in, which is why I got concerned. I'm like, Grandpa's going to kill this kid. Then we get a quick
holes in the backyard.
Yeah. Get a quick cut back to Herman, who slams his fist on the table, breaking their table. And then he just gathers it up to feed the Spot.
Yeah.
So that was just a weird little breakaway moment that I don't think it had any place in the story, but it was kind of neat. They feed Spot table scraps.
Yeah. But down in the lab, I'm sorry, did you say this already?
We're getting more.
Okay.
Grandpa shows him his instant disguise potions, which we saw in the very first episode we watched.
Yep.
So that was a cool little callback. And Googie says that he likes the one that he's wearing. Then we cut to, he's like, what's in this chest? And this is one of the coolest things about this episode. Grandpa goes, oh, that's my old war stuff. He opens it up and there's a ton of pinup pictures.
Yeah.
These are various classic horror film characters.
Yep. We
got Lon Chaney as Phantom of the Opera. Lon Chaney again as Vampire in London After Midnight. We got Mr. Hyde from the Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Boris Karloff from the 1935 The Raven. Bela Lugosi as Dracula. Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. The Gilman from The Creature of the Black Lagoon. The werewolf from Hammer's Curse of the Werewolf. And one of the mole people. And there's obviously more in there, but those are the ones that I took note of the most. So,
no, there's a bunch of them in there. It's really cool to see, and you get like because they are like quote unquote pinups, maybe that's how Lily's brother is a werewolf because Grandpa was in the werewolves. So
good to be. We find out that Grandpa just has nitroglycerin just laying around, which makes sense. I would say that's irresponsible, but it's totally in character. Googie asks Grandpa if he can. He points at a potion. This is what starts this conversation. It's a potion to turn frogs into princes. And Googie says, well, can you turn me into anything? Grandpa goes, yeah, I could turn you into a horse, a crocodile, a unicorn, a rock, and roll singer, jackass.
Yeah.
And Googie goes, what about a rabbit? He goes, oh, I can do that. That's no problem. So my note here is, this is your death wish, kid.
Yeah.
Because he challenges Grandpa that he can't do it.
Right. But also while Grandpa's back was turned, he does add some shit to his, I think it was the nitroglycerin.
He puts the nitroglycerin in the potion.
Yep. And then he keeps on antagonizing Grandpa, and Grandpa's like, "Oh, fine, I'll turn you into blah 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 at this time, a rabbit at this time, whatever."
Googie goes upstairs to find Eddie as Grandpa starts stirring his potion.
And boom.
Yeah, that takes a little bit of time for payoff, but it's well worth the wait. So Googie's outside with Eddie. He's like, "Hey, let's go downtown. I want to play a prank on your grandpa." And Eddie's like, "I don't want to. They're adults. That's what we're kids. This is what we do. So let's go."
Right.
Lily then asks where Grandpa is. At that precise second is when the potion blows up. Grandpa comes flying through into the rafters, which is the first time we see them.
Mm-hmm. It does take a while for this to happen. Nitroglycerin would have worked a lot faster, but we'll let it go for comic's sake.
Yeah. Now we're getting ready to turn Googie into a rabbit, which I'm like, Grandpa should be ready to kill this kid.
Maybe
he's
that's
got
what he was going to do when he was a rabbit.
Yeah, he's got curtains and stuff to hide the transformation, to make it more of a spectacle. Yeah. Yes. And so he does the spell, opens it up. There's a chimp. Mm-hmm. So the kid went downtown to get a chimp. Who is selling chimps?
I think he said he got it from...
It was a pet store. It was Alan's pet store, I believe. It's on the cage.
Did he say he stole it?
He probably did, the little bastard.
I think he later on, he says he stole it. So...
Yeah. Well, Eddie is impressed and then asks him to turn it back. Herman says why. It's an improvement.
Yeah.
All right. Grandpa then tries to undo it, but the chimp is still there. Herman begins freaking out that Lily's going to find out about this. Grandpa says, "Look, I'll use this amazing superpower I have. It's what put Lincoln in the White House." And then he starts the incantation and smoke starts pouring out of his ears.
Mm-hmm.
No, Chimp's still there.
Who says monkey in this?
All of them do at one point or another.
Yeah. Okay. But just so people know, chimpanzees are apes. So are humans, by the way. We're classified as apes.
Earlier, you said a chimp isn't an ape.
Chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, gibbons, gorillas, and humans are all apes.
Huh. Well, they were correct.
Geographic says so.
All right. National Geographic, if that's your real name.
If you have any true facts.
Yeah. So Herman says there's only one thing to do. And Grandpa's like, "What's that?" "Go downtown and buy some bananas." Cut to Googie nearby with an open cage, laughing hysterically. So they're in the lab now as Grandpa. Oh, wait. No, I skipped a part. Eddie wants to hang out with them and watch them turn Googie back, but Herman's like, "Hey, go upstairs." So they're in the lab trying to figure this out. Grandpa's like, "Well, we could just let evolution do it, but it's going to take a while."
Yeah, it was like 260,000 years or some shit like that.
Yeah. So Herman says, "Well, why don't you use your Prince potion?"
No, before that, Herman's like, "Well, he's got to be back to school by Monday." Like, gets frantic for a second. And then he goes into the whole potion thing.
Which is a cool little, we just the nitroglycerin thing for no reason. Grandpa goes, "I've been working on it for 5 years, and all I got is 5 sick frogs and something else." It's basically saying the potion sucks. Eddie's outside now. Googie appears from out of nowhere, revealing that he's not the chimp, and then blackmails him by saying that he's going to pin the whole thing on Eddie if he tells anyone. So let's go to the movies now. This kid is such a dick.
Yeah, he just wants to go. Eddie's like, "Well, I'm going to tell on you."
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if you tell on me, I'm just going to tell your mom and dad that it was all your fault. All you did it all of it, every single thing. Did you already say that? You're like shaking your head like you said that.
No, I'm just like, God, this kid is the
I was
worst.
about to say, I didn't hear any of that.
So at that point,
he's a dick.
Yeah, Googie's parents, they call, and Lily and Meryl are like, oh my God, we're getting rid of this little fuck.
Yeah.
Which is funny because he's not being mean to them.
Yeah.
But they're sick of him. So
I mean, that's what a good wife would do. Someone's treating your husband bad, someone's treating your dad bad, shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, if someone pulls the chair out from under me, it's okay to laugh. It's big guy fall down.
I think that the continuation of the events, not just one thing, but like multiple things going forward.
Yeah, I could see how that could get annoying real quick for anyone else.
And they're used to having like, Eddie seems like the poster child for like great, not really throwing fits and shit like that or doing stupid shit to his parents. He shows respect. And this kid isn't really showing respect, especially. And it's also one thing to do these jokes to people that you know or have known for a while than versus when you just met them. There's a respect issue there. So I can see why they would be pissed off and annoyed at it.
Yeah.
So, not any respect.
Lily calls down into the dungeon, is like, hey, so the parents want the kid back, and Grandpa gets real stressed. Like the most stressed I've seen him in this show.
Yeah. It's funny what they do though. They just like, we're just gonna fucking take the monkey or the chimpanzee back.
Well, Herman replies with a bunch of primate jokes, and Grandpa's like, will you stop?
Yeah.
So yeah, they dress the chimp up in the kid's clothes, hoping that people will buy it. And then they go to take him home. Lily and Meryl come back with they come in through the backyard with groceries. So I'm guessing they took the car.
Yeah.
They begin talking shit. I wrote begging and not begin, so that threw me on my own notes. They are not like, they are so happy that kid is gone. But then we get Herman and Grandpa walking to their house. He's like, now let's not have any long conversations with the parents. And Grandpa's like, I plan on just ringing the bell and running. So Grandpa takes the chip down, which is shocking. I figured he would have Herman do it.
Right. Well, Grandpa,
he rings the doorbell. The dad comes out. He's like, here's your kid. All right, bye.
Yeah.
So he goes inside with him, and all of a sudden you just hear him yell. What? He comes out. What did you do to my kid?
I think it was a good choice though to make Grandpa do it because he is the one responsible for the mutation or quote unquote mutation or transformation.
The magic. Yeah. Transmutation.
There we go. So
transmogrified your kid.
De-evolutionized the kid. So I thought that was a good choice for that rather than Herman doing it, and Grandpa can move faster than Herman in this suit anyways, so he can get back quicker.
Well, as they're running home, the dad furiously calls the Munsters' house, which Lily answers the phone and is confused by what is he sees, what's going on, because Eddie and Googie walk in through the front door. Lily's like, oh, your kid's here. I thought they took him back. The dad's like, I'm coming to get him. He's like, all right. So as Grandpa and Herman are sneaking in through the back door again, they're worried someone will call the police. Well, Herman specifically is worried about them calling the police. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I noticed they have a second set of stairs from their kitchen, which maybe I've noticed before. I don't know. But I don't think we've ever seen them use them.
I don't think so.
No. But so they see Googie and they're like, oh, your spell must have finally kicked in. And Their whole plan was to sneak into the dungeon, by the way, in 20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
And Herman's like, I need to go get some new socks then. So, Googie's dad comes down with Googie from the stairs. And they're like, oh, he just came to collect his trunk of clothes. We forgot it. He's like, Googie's dad talks to Lily. He's like, could you come outside for a minute? I have to tell you something or show you something. So she goes out there. There's Judy the chimp.
Mm-hmm.
And Lily's confused. She's like, all right, I'll take the monkey off your hands, I guess. But she knows Grandpa's the one who left it. And she's like, all right, well, I'm going to figure out what this is about.
Right.
As she comes back inside with Judy, Herman and Grandpa see it as, oh God, he changed back, and they both faint.
Did you have the monkey after, like, don't they just end up keeping the monkey?
Well,
we don't know, I guess.
They're sitting around the living room as Eddie is explaining everything that happened. Herman and Grandpa are furious. Lily begins lecturing him, and Meryl even steps in a bit with like, well, you shouldn't listen to people like that. And Herman plans to go over and tell Googie's father exactly how he's failed as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh, that's going to go over well. Then he turns and smiles at Judy. Judy then books it out of the house. And they're like, well, I guess she's going back to the pet store. That's how the episode ends.
Yeah, it's...
Even though Judy's been around Herman all day, she then runs for it at the end.
Why not just keep the monkey? That would have been the cool extra castmate. Or not monkey, sorry. I even did it. See? The chimp. Why not just keep the chimp in the show? That would have been the cool one. I guess they have way too many animals already to keep track of, but
that and chimps are unpredictable and hard to work with.
Yeah, but all their other animals are fake except for the cat. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, they have a real raven every now and then.
We should have our own show where the main character is an ape. Now I sound like I'm drinking, don't I?
A little bit.
I promise I'm not drinking. It's too early for that.
So some trivia.
Yes, trivia for episode 25.
This title is based on the 1952 movie Come Back, Little Sheba?
I thought you were about to say Come Back, Little Shit.
SHBA. I don't know how to spell it.
SHEBA?
Yeah. No, SEBA.
SEBA?
Yeah.
Seba?
I'm not familiar with this movie, but yeah. So that's all I got besides the pinup pictures, which I had to look up some of the actors from that.
What is your...
the reason I think the kid's name is Googie is because it's similar to Judy. And every other time that this chimp has been in any other show, she's just gone by her name, Judy.
Gotcha.
So I think they were trying to make it easy on her to understand.
Sebo is also the name of one of the sons of Cush. It's from Genesis 10, verse 7.
Does that have anything to do with the movie?
I'm trying to figure that out, but I'm not seeing nothing. Unless the movie is based on that. Which back then it probably could have been. So you said you had a reasoning possibly by the Googie.
I guess that it.
What?
That it's similar to Judy, the chimp's name.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be more to that.
No, I think they picked a stupid ass name so that it'd be easier on the chimp.
Well, it's Sheba with an H, by the way, that movie.
Is it? Did I misspell it?
Yep.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
They're stuck in a deadening and loveless marriage. Doc who dropped out of medical school. Okay.
No wonder I had trouble pronouncing.
Yeah. Shirley Booth is in there.
Right.
And Burt Lancaster. Dun dun. There you go. Anyways.
I kind of enjoyed this one. I think I mostly enjoyed it because Lost in Space is one of my favorites from back in this era.
Yeah.
So just seeing the kid from that.
Yeah, watching him be an asshole on this. Yeah. I wish Dr. Smith would have killed him already. Jeez. Danger, Googie. No, it was an okay episode. Yeah, like I said, when I started watching it, I was like, dude, I've watched this already, and I literally thought we had talked about this episode before, but apparently it was just me watching it a couple weeks beforehand too. So it's always fun. I guess I was like, dude, this is literally everything. And then it came on because I watched these back to back, episode 24 and 25. And with 24 starting like another episode that we had watched, I was like, wait. I was like really thinking I put in like started the wrong shows or something. Like I was looking through because I still pull the DVDs out. And for those who haven't heard before too, if you want to pick up the exact copy that we're watching, it's just the complete set. Tivis has it in his background if you're watching the video. I don't have mine on anywhere. It's up here somewhere on one of these shelves, out of frame actually. So it's a complete box set. It's a green with all four of the people, and you can get it on Amazon. I think it was the 2010 release of the movie, of the series, because it came with a bunch more stuff than the newer release does actually. So, and it was only like $10 on Amazon and 20 on at like Walmart or some shit like that. I think I saw it at Walmart for $20 recently. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode to a point. Like you said, like Lost in Space. Yeah, I recognize the kid right away with that. But just seeing him as an asshole is just like, oh man, he's a good asshole. I'm curious to know what else he did during his time as a child actor, because he did do a TV show, so I know he's got
quite a list.
Did he?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'll have to go back through and check some of his older stuff out as a child actor, because I'm curious to see where his range was at, because I've only seen him now in this and Lost in Space. And apparently I saw him as an adult in Lost in Space. So I just didn't realize it was him. Yeah, I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed both episodes, but like I said, episode 24 out of these two was probably my favorite one from these two that we just watched. I love Locked Out. So yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Besides, these were a good couple episodes.
Yeah, they were all right.
I think after last episode we did, which we didn't feel that strongly about either of those. It's nice to get back into, some good ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got any last words for me, man?
We'd love to hear what you guys think. Did you enjoy these? Send us an email.
How can they contact us?
At the MUNSTERCAST@gmail.com, baby.
Oh, nope. All right. So see, this is why I do all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why you asked me.
I'm just curious.
Via the internet.
So you can find us on every social media platform that most people use. We're boomers, so Facebook is used a lot more. So you can find us all at TheMunsterCast.
It's just easier for advertising stuff as well. I mean, who the hell wants that character limit when they're trying to tell people, hey, we're having fun?
Right. Damn it, Twitter. So, and then Instagram and Facebook work back to back with each other, which is nice because they're both owned by Zuckerberg anyways.
Meta.
It's so meta. They're getting sued for that. That's another show we talk about that on. So
Good.
You can find us on all the socials and on YouTube at TheMunsterCast. And then, as Tivis said, if you want to let us know how your thoughts, things like that, you can comment us on Facebook and let us know your thoughts too. Message us on Facebook, comment us or add us on Twitter about your thoughts about these episodes that we talked about, or the episode that you're listening to right now of this podcast. If you want to just, talk shit about us or praise us, thank us for what we're doing, anything, I don't give a crap. Do all that. And as Tivis said, though, if you want to directly contact us, it's TheMunsterCast at outlook.com. And we respond to those emails. We both have access to all of these things. So
I'm mostly on the Facebook. Myke is everywhere else.
Yeah. So one way or another, though, you'll hear back from me or Tivis. It's not going to be some robot, not anything like that. So cool.
Yeah.
Got less.
It hit me. We're over halfway done with season one.
Season one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if people don't know too, for the final episode of the podcast for season one, anyways, we will be doing
season two. It won't be their last.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be doing season two, but the final episode for this season of the show and everything, we'll be doing the original pilot episode that we skipped because we didn't want to start the show off with the pilot, which I know some people probably think is weird, but I like it because now we're watching.
It wasn't even available until 2000s. So
really, it's on our DVDs though. So that's cool. That's another bonus about our DVD set. It's on the DVDs. So, but yeah, I just thought it would be a better situation to watch the show and then we'd be able to compare and contrast a lot more. And that will be one whole episode by itself. So we have a little more time to talk about the differences and things that we like or don't like about the pilot and the characters, because there are different characters and stuff like that too. So, all right. With that said, Tivis, final word.
Join us next week for Far Out Munsters and Munsters on the Move.
Awesome. Come back, little Googie. Come back. With that said, guys, thank you very much for showing up
Googie, to another. Stay in space.
Thank you for showing up to another episode of the Munster Cast, and we will catch you next time as we take another stroll down 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
The lesson I want you to learn is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be tall or short, or fat or thin, or ugly, or handsome, like your father. Or you can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the size of your heart and the strength of your character.